What's up, everybody? I'll be working on myself, getting ready and doing a little sculpting on my character. And I got quite a bit of work to do. Um, so, this is going to be my own personal virtual character that I will be using throughout the season. So, let's get some stuff going here. Let's go to another matte cap. Right now, the chin is kind of weird looking, and we're gonna fix that now. Um, just gonna go to the move tool and kind of move some of this stuff back. Got a lot of work to do, but I know for sure the chin is gonna come out, and just kind of keep it simple. I don't want to do too much because when I convert it over into a probably gonna use Unreal this time, so it's probably gonna be a meta human. Seems like that's kind of the way to go. Depends on what you're gonna be doing. But if I was creating something that's gonna be rendered for a movie, I would definitely not use Unreal Engine. I still believe that um, the Unreal Engine is cool, but it's not a. It's like a work in progress. If you look at all the games and everything that people uses to kind of make characters and movies and games, and it's to me it just always look uh, it's like a shortcut to me. It's a good thing to have when you don't have the right people in place, and so it's kind of like a cop out to me. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say a cop out, but it's like uh, it's an easy tool. It speed up the process, but when you're trying to do realistic things and so on and so forth, I like to just kind of get away from the game workflow. So this is kind of like video game workflow that that we use, um, but again, like I said, takes some getting used to. I think I need to pull out that chin a little bit, and I may do that in the inside of the engine once I kind of get my face over there. This is just the initial sculpt, and like I said, all of this stuff is gonna get kind of voided out, so I don't want to spend too much time. I just want to definitely get this eye and kind of fix some of this head, and probably gonna fix some of the inside of the mouth. Get this stuff down. Let's get this move. And like I said, this is more for the channel. This is gonna be my character, my digital, my digital avatar. And if you guys want a digital avatar, just go to my website. It's splashing off up on the screen right here. So just go to Virtual Replica Studios, and while you're there, just make sure you shoot me an email and let me know what you want, and I can definitely create you a digital avatar. And that's kind of my focus now, is just kind of creating these things for a lot of people, and just a little bit about myself. I have worked in the industry for a little bit. I don't have like all of the experience, but I definitely have some experience. Um, kind of got my undergrad degree in art and graphic design, and kind of after that, I was able to kind of take advantage of it. I moved to California and was able to get a chance to work on it. At the time, I thought it was the best company in the world. Of course, nothing is perfect. So, I was just glad to be there. But now, now I'm not just a type of person that's just glad to be there. I know that at the end of the day, you can work at the best company in the world or your favorite company in the world. If you're not being treated right, or if you don't feel happy, you know, uh, um, you don't feel like you are in the place you need to be in, and that's something that I kind of put a lot of effort in. Um, Try not to be a people pleaser, but once I got in the door and I kind of got an understand of how things work, you know, I kind of quit. Um, Actually, they didn't renew my contract, not because I was doing bad. It was just one of those type of things was like a 6 month type thing, and then I was able to kind of move back over to the East Coast where I'm from, and down to Orlando, in the Orlando area, and worked on the Madden game for a little bit, and that was actually the best job that I ever had. I would say I learned a lot. Again, I kept running into those brick walls where it's like can never just move up, and no matter how hard you try, um, shake hands, laugh with everybody, just that I don't know, man. Just it's kind of hard to put in words. I always felt like I had to try harder than everybody, and then it's like if this is not at EA per se, just in general, like any company, just feel like you don't get the same. I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to put in words, and it's frustrating, man. It's a frustrating thing, especially when you want to be in a place and no matter what you do, you just kind of not good enough. And I will be honest, like it's very competitive out there, and you got to have the perfect attitude, the perfect tone of voice. Um, you got to fit. You got to man. There's so many things that you have to think about, and it's not necessarily a race thing either. It's just man, it just took some time, for me to kind of wrap my mind around like exactly what I wanted to do. And once my time ended, I was actually relieved and open to kind of trying something new. And I was able to kind of move to Virginia and pursue another maybe smaller company, just work my way up. Ran into the same issues. Um, Ran into the same issues. It was just a uphill battle. No matter how good you were, no matter how much they relied on you, it's just like you had to be Hercules for some reason. You didn't get hold. I I just never been held at the same. I don't know. It's like different rules. I couldn't put it in. I still don't know what the heck is going on, and you really can't call it anything. Really, I think it's just the culture. And once I kind of figured out that this ecosystem that's already here, that I'm actually not really a part of it, really, you know, and I watched that happen and trying to give your input, trying to help, trying to go over and beyond, staying late, coming in early, doing all the things that your pops, that older person told you to do, and actually didn't work like that. It's just the nature of the business, to be honest, the nature of the business. Like I said, it's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of moving parts, and a lot of assuming, and I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy, how the private sector is. So did that for a little bit. My pops got sick, and he eventually passed from cancer. And I got that bad news on that job, and I resigned. Came back home to kind of help him out a little bit, much as I could. Uh, and then, you know, decided to go back and like pursue maybe working with a company, working on movies and stuff like that. And did that for a little bit. Moved to Baltimore. Ran into the same issue, and mind you, this is not a necessarily a black, white, Chinese, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, because that last company I was working with, it was black owned, and loved working with those guys, but ran into that same issue kind of again. So I started to question myself, like maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe it's me. But then when you start talking to other people, then you start kind of seeing just the way things are. And I started to feel a little better because I was like, I'm like, hey, I'm doing everything I can to be the best, teammate. I'm a former football player, so uh, I try to do my best to kind of, just not just go along, get along, but kind of stay out of people's way, man. You know, and but sometimes people find their way back over towards you. Just no matter how much you try to stay out the way and try not to get anybody mad or get on the wrong side, that's a lot of stress, man. Like you can't really be yourself, on a lot of these jobs, man. It's like rules and you know it's you think that, hey man, I get to work on movies and video games and this is my dream job, coming from somebody like me who never actually been, had opportunities like this to kind of to get away from where I'm from and kind of move into these spaces. And it's tough, man. It's really tough. And like I said, that didn't really quite work out. And like I said, sometimes it's not necessarily like a lot of things that was happening. When I was working there, it just didn't work out, man. Like I said, a lot of things happen, but it's just the nature of the business. Like if you play football or if you play basketball or if you work for some Fortune 500 company or you start your own business, it's just gonna always have something. It's always something. And well, my biggest issue, um, just working on a job, period. You come with a lot of experience, but you always kind of placed on the back burner. And I don't know if it's intimidation or maybe they can see that you can do a lot and kind of challenge people to step their games up. Step your game up. Try to do something with you. It's just I don't know. Some people have that thing about them where they know like that's the person that I can't just be around this person and not do my job. You got to do your job, or they know that person's gonna see it because that person is on top of their stuff. You know what I mean? And sometimes that bother people. It's get under their skin. They don't know why, but it's just like you kind of force them to kind of step it up and try to do something. Um, and sometimes they may at the time that person was probably the big fish on in the bowl. Now you got another big fish in there that and that's like a threat. And that's kind of like what I actually been experiencing. I think At first, when you go on a job or you go in with this ideal of like, okay, this time around, I'm just gonna sit in the corner and be normal. Like I'm not gonna try to improve the company. I'm not gonna try to if I see somebody messing up, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sit back and just do my job and go home. But if you are the type of person that like to help out and you enjoy what you do, you don't mind sharing ideas and kind of showing people what you have done, and maybe people feel like you're not that good, and they don't want to listen. But just being in a place of not having power, so when the pandemic hit, like everybody else, you try to start your own company, and some people it worked out, and some people it didn't, like me. Um, Hard to get equipment, to get money, to get funded, and it's just a whole bunch of crap. So you have to go back to work. You tried for a couple of months, but it just didn't come to fruition. You know, and that was kind of what I experienced. From all the different jobs, and just want to. It's not necessarily about you just want to be the boss. You just want to have freedom to kind of work. You see people in places that maybe not. You can't say they don't deserve it, but just don't have the skill set for some reason. They are able to get in these jobs and tell you what to do. And it's like constant. It's like constant you just get all this miscommunication, and people on the job don't really know, and so it's I don't know. I'm kind of just talking right now, but just trying to lead up to where I am right now and what I decided to do with my life. And I think everybody should kind of sit back and kind of have these conversations with your family and also with yourself, like hey, what I want to do with my life. I want to just be in this little rat race, and I've been to a couple of places, and it's all the same, and what's gonna make the next place a little bit different. And that was proven to me like recently. you know so when I came back home, I actually uh, was approached about teaching. So I was like, okay, maybe I can help some people out that I didn't have any help, so I had to kind of self-taught, and I had to kind of discover things on my own. And I was like, maybe I can help students. And to be honest, like I said, working at EA was probably one of the best jobs I had. As far as just doing work. I'm not saying the place is perfect. I'm just saying being an ex-football player, always wanted to go to the NFL. I was one of the people that had issues, health issues, and had to stop. And being the type of guy that liked to play Madden, all my life in college and so on and so forth, and now I have the chance to work on the game, and it was almost like I was drafted. I took it personal, and I don't think the people that was there can really see how invested I was into, like, just working on these characters, working on these football players, and you know watching football all day at home, and just it's like my getaway, as far as watching football. And I am a Tennessee Titan fan, but it's I can watch any football game, and sometimes, like, I was just so invested, man. And so when I got back, um, and I worked at this particular college, and I'm not gonna blast them because I think there's a lot of good at the college. It's just that I discovered a whole nother level of people that just don't know, never been out in the private sector. They kind of like graduated, got all these degrees, and start teaching. Not all of them, but a lot of professors um, don't have a lot of experience, depends on where you go, having a lot of work experience, but they get these jobs and they come back, very smart people. It's nothing you can really say about that. It's just the politics and trying to explain things, like how things really work, nowadays, and trying to tell them about the pitfalls and the direction you need to go in. It was just kind of hard to sell that, to get that over, because what you don't know, you don't know. That's at the end of the day. So I fought that battle for like 5 years, and man, what really pulled me away from it was students. These new age students. When I tell you, it's hard. It's hard, man. It was hard trying to teach students. Not like I said, not all students, but I had my share of just uh, it's not to bash anybody, but that was probably the worst job that I ever had. And I say I had a job that was probably the best, not because of how they treated you, but it was just more of what I was working on. I was excited and happy about working on the product, and everything. And that was more like on the lines of where I was, as far as, you know, just where I was at the time. And so let's change this. And so now I do that job for a little bit. And while in the midst of that, I can kind of see that, that I'm not going to be here forever. And I can feel myself slowly but surely trying to find an exit. It would have been great to kind of, uh, it would have been great to, it would have been great to stay and keep, working and maybe trying my best to, I don't know, make it work, you know, because it is a very great thing uh, to be in a position to actually help people. That's just amazing, man. But I just knew it wasn't for me. Working at a college and teaching, and being a professor was an honor. I would say that. So what I did, I gave it 5 years. I think I stayed longer than I should have, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had when I was a professor. Trying to teach this kind of stuff, and then imagine just teaching students that never seen this type of stuff before. It's like it was like I was talking Chinese to some of these students, and I understand. I understand. I know how it is when you get exposed to something that's very new and very tedious. You got to spend a lot of time at the computer, and I understood. It just wasn't for me. So I stopped, got another little gig working remote. All my friends talk about working remote, how fun it was. And I ran and I forgot those 5 years. I forgot how things were. And that thing came back that I always actually didn't like, and I don't have to I'm not going to try to explain it or throw anybody under the bus, but I knew right then, okay, it's time to do my own thing, and it forced me to. So now I quit and I went live with what you see here, which is Virtual Replica Studios. This YouTube channel is just a way to kind of relax, talk about football, just to get my mind off of just the wear and tear of just sitting at the computer all day. But I said, okay, if I watch football, if I play Madden, which is what this channel is playing Madden and watching football games live and stuff like that, and I decided to incorporate some of this stuff. So what I'm going to be doing is, creating the logos for all the teams and texturing the helmets. And every week, I'm gonna this character is gonna wear probably a Titans helmet, for the most part. But I may jump ship a few times and I may jump ship and just kind of flip the helmets over. But we're gonna make both teams um, every week, and we're gonna play the game and Madden and just kind of follow the seasons. We're trying something with a different twist instead of just being a guy on YouTube, which is great because I watch all of the channels and stuff like that. Instead of being a Madden channel or a sports channel, or I'm bringing it all together because most people probably can't do what I'm doing. So a lot of people never saw this process, and to show you the behind the scenes, like how we make games and how we create characters and like what it's like. This software is ZBrush, and like a lot of people don't know what ZBrush is, but most video games, most movies, this is a major software that we use for a lot of for a lot of things. And just so you guys can see the behind the scenes when I texture it and bringing it to the Unreal Engine. And I'm going to be going live with this character. This is actually me, guys. Kind of all the way, just kind of like taking a little younger version of myself and just trying to make something happen. So I'm not really worried about this bottom part down here because this is gonna go away with within the engine when I kind of bring my head over into the software and create a version of myself. So I'm just kind of just cleaning this up, and it's probably gonna be part one for now, and then I'll come back maybe tomorrow, and then we'll flush this through the Unreal Engine and create a meta character with this, a meta human, as I must say. And I'm just not trying to put too much effort into it. Usually with something like this, when I worked on the Madden, I would work on like, for instance, I will work on like the face, did I do it smooth? So I would like do something like this. Let me get the right one. So what we would do more, because I just got this new keyboard and it's acting really weird. Almost $500 for this keyboard. It's like for video editing, because I have a nice little setup here, guys, where I'm trying to get back into the creative side of things, and I want to know how to cut a movie, how to edit a movie. And so it's not just putting up YouTube videos and doing editing. I'm actually trying to dig deep because I am working on a film. So it's back to what I said. I decided to start my own business, and I started this in 2018, and I go off and on, off and on, off and on. And when you do things like that, you put your own dreams on the back burner, so you can just make everybody want to have get paid. You got to pay bills. This time I decided to draw a circle and stand in that circle until something happened, right? And so this is my beginning of just trying to put my ideas out there and trying to do things that I know I can do. It may take time. I might have some painful times, and I'm willing to kind of just keep going through, and seeing where this take me, and that's what it's all about. Just got to see where things take you. Got to try. I want to say, hey, I didn't, at the end of the day, I at least tried. but I don't want to just try. I'm actually gonna make it, guys. I think this is gonna be a great channel. I think I'm writing a script right now, which is called Lactrodextrous, and I'll be exposed. Probably not this channel, but probably my company channel, which is Virtual Replica Studios. I have another channel for that, and I'll be giving you guys updates on the movie, the script, and stuff like that. And it's going to be a very, very cool idea that I've been thinking about since I was in graduate school. So I decided to kind of work on that now. So these things like this YouTube channel is just something on the side that just going to keep me busy, get my mind off it, give my mind a little rest. You know what I mean? So this is probably as far as I'm going to take this. Now, like if I was working on the Madden game, I would go in and I would fix these eyelids. Um, I would go and fix the mouth. Let me go in. What I would do is do a lot of things like go in and fix the inside of the lips. See that space in there? I'm actually gonna fix that now. But what I like to do is kind of go up here and kind of change the background to like something that I can kind of see. Let me go here and go something like that. Man, what I would do is go grab this color so I can see through to the background. Man, what I would do is kind of grab let's go and grab a move brush, move topological, and what I would do is just move this. Just kind of get this fixed in place. You want the lips to be touching because for animation purposes, like I said, if I was working on the Madden, it would probably take me a couple of days, maybe a day or two to kind of get done with a head, character, football player. Then got to make sure, so I don't want any gaps showing like that. I want to close the mouth completely. I would have to position the teeth, and all this type of stuff and texture and do detail work. It is it's a little bit of it takes some time. It's not easy, but this is just for my channel, so I'm not gonna go too crazy right now. But probably eventually I will. But for this, it's just for me, and I know at the end of the day that I know at the end of the day that this is just gonna be for my channel, and it's gonna look good once I get done anyway. So I don't have to worry about all the details of what this should look like. I don't have to push it all the way. I just want to fix this eye right here. Fix that. Yeah, so right now, because I kind of just started on my channel, so actually can't go live right now. But eventually, I know you guys are going to come aboard and start following me and, and kind of become a family. And like I said, if you want that, if you want your own digital avatar of yourself, hit me up. I got you. I got you covered. All right. I don't like that color, so let's go with maybe like a grayish version of that. And let's change this to this. Yeah, that's what I like. Change that back just a little better. So I think I'm gonna stop right here, guys, and I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow, right? Like I said, I could push it some more, but this is good enough for me right now. It's perfect for me. And like I said, follow your dreams. Don't let anybody make you feel any kind of way about like what you're trying to do. It took me years. I won't say my age, but it took me years to kind of quit and like say, all right, enough is enough. And if somebody want work done, okay, I'm not gonna beg to be part of what you have no more. You need my services, let's work together. If not, it's all good. And that's how you have to kind of be these days, you know, in these days, you know, there's so many ways you can make money and provide for your family, and you don't have to take no crap from nobody on a job, you know. And uh, don't get me wrong, it's good to go, good to have a job, and you know, some people got to do it, got to do what they got to do, you know. It's just that at this time, you know, in my life, I decided to jump and to have complete faith that God gonna work it out. All I have to do is do my part, right? You just got to do your part. Once you do your part, everything's gonna fall in place. Trust me, guys. Everything's gonna work itself out. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Follow my channel, like and subscribe, and we'll keep this ball rolling. I can't wait to football season start because we're gonna have a whole lot of fun. All right. Peace.